A mother suddenly lost her mind, picked up her child and threw it onto the train tracks. A nearby boy saw what happened, immediately ran over and jumped with all his strength to save the child, but he was run over by a train. However, that hero was not injured. Just a few days ago, Dunam was still an ordinary person, working as a sanitation worker at a landfill. He has two close friends. Even though he worked hard, he didn't make much money, so he decided to quit and find a new job. To bid farewell to the two friends, they spent a happy day together. On the way home, Dunam was unfortunately hit by a car. A normal person certainly could not survive, but Dunam was unharmed. The wounds on his body also healed quickly. It turned out that he had superhuman recovery abilities, activated after the accident, so Dunam was soon discharged from the hospital and very quickly found a new job, working as a security guard at a store. The owner revealed that the reason the store had to hire security guards was because the store recently mysteriously kept losing money despite installing surveillance cameras. He will work with the boss's niece named Yunha. After finding a new job, Dunam immediately showed it off to his friends. Two of his friends also came to congratulate him. While they were partying, the door suddenly opened, everyone in the room stood still as if controlled by some force, and then a guy with blue eyes walked in. That's Cho-in. Since childhood, he has had a special ability, whoever looks into his eyes will be controlled by him. Therefore, his mother had to blindfold him, but his father did not accept that, considered him a monster and continuously beat him and his mother. Those actions made Cho-in unacceptable, so he removed the blindfold and controlled his father's body, forcing him to walk into the middle of the street and break his own neck. After that, his mother could not bear it, so she committed suicide. After finishing, he intended to commit suicide, but did not expect that Cho-in had torn off the blindfold, then controlled his mother's body so that she slowly walked into the nearby river. However, Cho-in stopped and spared his mother, but since then, he has no longer contacted her. He wanders in society and is not carefully educated, so he often uses his superpowers to do bad things. He was also the one who controlled the store owner to take money and give it to him, so the money kept disappearing without a trace. Today he also intended to do the same trick, but suddenly met Dunam, a special person who was not affected by his superpowers. Seeing Dunam escape from control, he was very surprised, but soon he controlled two friends next to Dunam to hold him back. Unexpectedly, with extraordinary strength, Dunam was still able to escape. However, before he could stop his opponent, he controlled Yunha and used a knife to attack Dunam, causing him extreme pain as he tried to pull the knife out of his body. Seeing this, Cho-in ordered the boss to use an electric baton to approach Dunam, but was stopped by an iron door, causing the boss's head to be pinned between two iron bars. Seeing this, Dunam immediately ran to help and took the opportunity to escape, but he still could not save the boss. As a result, he lost his life. At the funeral, Yunha was extremely heartbroken, making Dunam unable to bear it. She promised herself that she would find the blue-eyed guy to demand justice. As for Cho-in, he was very confused about Dunam's identity, because this was the first time he encountered this situation. Cho-in even thought that his superpower had decreased, so he looked at the opposite building and used his superpower to control everyone there. As a result, his superpower not only did not decrease, but also increased significantly, making him certain that Dunam was his enemy. That night, Dunam and two friends returned to the store, then reviewed the camera and discovered evidence of Cho-in's crime. They planned to take the videotape and hand it over to the police, but at that moment, the blue-eyed guy also appeared. Turns out he came back to destroy evidence. Not only that, he also controlled and led a group of thugs. Seeing that the crowd was so aggressive, Dunam's group had no choice but to run away and drop their pants. Suddenly, Dunam remembered that he hadn't taken the videotape yet, so he had to risk his life to go back and get it. Fortunately, when the group of people broke through the door, he took the tape and hid it on the ceiling. However, he still discovered it, causing Dunam to hastily run away and drop his pants again, then successfully got into the car and turned around to corner the blue-eyed guy, so that he could not use his superpowers by shine light into his eyes. Unexpectedly, he still avoided it and quickly controlled three people nearby so they could control Dunam. At this time, Dunam immediately broke the beer bottle, intending to use it to take his life. But when he was about to strike, Dunam immediately pulled out the electric baton and knocked him unconscious, escaping the control of the other 3 people, then dragged him by the neck and took the videotape to the police station. He also carefully used a plastic bag to blindfold him. However, when Dunam reported to the police, they thought he had a problem because they did not believe that anyone had superpowers and the ability to control others with their eyes, so they arbitrarily opened the killer's blindfold. As a result, Dunam saw a pot of boiling water and felt something was wrong but didn't have time to take precautions. After that, a police officer repeatedly opened fire on him. Fortunately, he still avoided the bullets, then controlled the police, took the gun and quickly ran into the interrogation room. However, Choen jumped through the window to escape. Without hesitation, Dunam quickly chased after him. At this time, he had arrived at the subway station, but because his legs were weak, he could not walk fast and was quickly overtaken. He knew that if he continued running like this, sooner or later, he would be caught. Therefore, he immediately used his superpower to control everyone around him and restrain Dunam, forcing him to use all his strength to easily escape the crowd and rush towards him. Seeing this, he immediately ordered a mother to pick up her child and throw it onto the tracks. At this time, the train was also approaching at high speed, forcing Dunam to save the child first, so he was hit by the train. Right after that, Choen was also exhausted, everyone was out of control. The mother saw her child in Dunam's hands and immediately did not understand anything and ran to get it back, then falsely accused him of being a kidnapper. Dunam no longer had the strength to explain, because after the collision, he was seriously injured and tried to crawl into the corner to rest. At this time, Choen also came to check, saw that he no longer had a heartbeat, so he thought he was dead and left with peace of mind. Unexpectedly, he quickly recovered. After reviewing the camera, the police believe that what Dunam said is true. They immediately investigated his identity. Soon, the police found his house. However, they underestimated him, resulting in all the police being controlled by him. At this time, through the radio, he learned that Dunam was still alive. That made him extremely bitter. He immediately led the police into the bedroom and forced them to shoot each other. The male lead has completely recovered and returned to the scrap car yard with 2 friends to make a plan to deal with Choen. Meanwhile, the killer is robbing a bank. He walked in and controlled everyone, forcing the employee to take money and put it in her pocket. After that, Choen destroyed all cameras to erase the traces. Next, he returned to his hometown to visit his mother, who he had not seen for 20 years. However, the police ambushed here. He uses superpowers to control everyone, including his mother. Then he planned to take her life, to eliminate Hoa. However, even though the mother was being controlled, she still shed tears. That made the murderer think again. He left the bag of money for her and then controlled her. Leading the police to leave, to the street, Choen immediately removed a manhole cover, then let each policeman jump into it and lose their lives. Then he decided to find the male lead to take revenge, because it was he who made him commit this mistake, while Dunam's group successfully created a special glasses, in addition to a light gun, which when fired will cause the opponent's superpowers. Lost control. Not only that, they also installed a rear reaction engine on the vehicle. Once fully prepared, the 3 people immediately set off, but when they had not yet found him, he took control. One person in the car, he almost opened fire and took their lives. At this time, Dunam also realized that he was on the overpass. He quickly got out of the car to chase him. When chased into an apartment, the new Choen Boc Fat has the power to control everyone there. He said Dunam was the one who caused this. If he hadn't gotten involved in his affairs from the beginning, the tragedy would not have happened. After speaking, he immediately commanded everyone to jump off the balcony. Witnessing such a horrifying scene made Dunam collapse. Meanwhile, Choen was extremely excited and left just like that. But as soon as I got to the parking garage, I was stopped by 2 of the male lead's friends. They used light guns to shoot at him, but unexpectedly that attack had no effect. Stepping out from the smokescreen, Choen controlled the 2 guys. By the time the male lead chased him, the 2 friends had already been taken away. At this point, he hurriedly went to look for them. As a result, he was also secretly attacked by him, causing him to lose consciousness. When he woke up, he saw all three hanging up in the store. Seeing that his two friends were about to be executed, the male lead repeatedly begged the other person to spare his life, but Choin said it was too late to say that. He should not have gone up to confront him. After saying that, he immediately removed the lock and took control. The two friends let them deal with each other. He stepped forward and kicked the chair under the male lead's feet, then he just left, ignoring the three of them, leaving the three of them hanging in the air, their lives just like a lamp in the wind. Suddenly the male protagonist looked up at the ceiling and saw a paper knife. He tried to swing with all his strength. After many efforts, he finally got the knife and successfully cut the ropes that tied him and his two friends. However, those two people could not survive, making Dunam extremely sad. The hatred in him resurfaced. He immediately chased Choin to get revenge. Unexpectedly, as soon as he got out, he saw him controlling Unha and getting in the car to run away. Without hesitation, he also got in the car to chase and accelerated. He pedaled the gears silently, determined not to let the opponent escape. At this moment, Choin suddenly felt his vision blurred. Perhaps due to overuse of superpowers, his eyes were damaged, causing the car to lose control. Crashed into another car. Seeing that Dunam had chased him, he used the last bit of his strength to control all the other cars to block the male lead's path. Seeing that, Dunam turned on the jet engine, successfully avoiding all the obstacles on the road. At this time, the opponent pulled out a gun and shot at him. Luckily, none of the bullets hit the target. He couldn't beat him, so he controlled Unha and ran away. The male lead just kept doing that. Followed him closely until he reached the top floor of a high-rise building, then ran out of nowhere. Dunam also chased him there, but he discovered that Unha had disappeared. It turned out that she was controlled by the guy with curly hair standing on the railing. That's why Dunam didn't dare to act rashly. At this time, Cho Print continuously opened fire at him, but when he was about to kill Dunam, his superpower officially lost its effect, and Unha did the same. But luckily, he escaped death. Seeing that, Dunam hugged him and rushed off the terrace. The two of them fell down and crushed the whole car. However, only Choin died, while Dunam was blessed by his ancestors, so he still survived, but had to live the rest of his life in a wheelchair, so Yunha also accepted to be his caregiver, until one day when the two of them went to the subway, a girl fell onto the tracks, but the people nearby just stood and watched, so the power inside Dunam arose again. The result was in some miraculous way. He recovered, saved that girl. Please like and subscribe to the channel to watch the next movie. Healer Recaps. Goodbye and see you again.